Hi everybody, this is Terry O'Malley. I'm glad to be here with you today on our website and wanted to talk a little bit today about sexual offenses and how they're different from most other cases. Typically when somebody is charged with any kind of a sexual offense, the police will find it necessary to take you into custody. They'll do that so that you have to post a bond in order to get out of jail. And they like to do that because they're able to take your fingerprints and photograph and have a record in what they consider a more serious case. These types of cases are especially difficult for me because one of the mindsets, a presumption of guilt that exists with the court system, I think is incorrect, and I don't think it should be there constitutionally. But that's what happens with judges in cases like this. Judges and police, they all assume that you're guilty of a crime before you've been proven guilty. One of the ways this works itself out is that they require you to be away from children once you've been arrested or accused of a crime. Being away from kids might mean that you can't go back to your house, or if you work with kids at your job, you can't go back to your job. And that's difficult, and it seems unfair to me that that happens, but it does. There's some things we can do to minimize that within the court system by asking the court for permission as a condition of your bond that you might be able to have supervised contact with your kids or maybe kids in a professional setting. One of the other ways that they exercise this presumption of guilt in a case like this is they require you to have some kind of a GPS monitoring device attached to your ankle. I don't think that's appropriate in a case where you haven't been found guilty yet that's one of the things that courts do in order to reduce their risk. There are a lot of calculated risks that the court is willing to take if we can offer them a certain level of safety for their careers. Judges are like anybody else and they're concerned about their careers, and they don't want people who are accused of a sex offense having full contact with kids anymore. They want to start to tighten up the network of where you are, who you're having contact with. One of the ways they do that is with a GPS monitoring, by limiting your ability to have contact with kids, even if they're your own kids. And so I think it's unfair for them to do that, but that's what happens. We are able to work with judges and district attorneys to reduce that risk level, to show them that there is not that great of a risk in your case. And what they'll do is sometimes make accommodations for us so that we can keep you at your job or maybe keep you having contact with your own kids.